A three-phase rectifier on it, runs dirty three-phase AC all the way to where he needs. It could be 300 feet away, 400 feet away, 100 yards away, and it's still dirty three-phase AC. And then he'll re-rectify it back into 12 volt by using one rectifier on one end, one rectifier on the other end. It's a simple thing. I couldn't believe it when I heard it, because now you can actually take DC and run it over long ways if you convert it into three-phase dirty AC. But just by using this simple little rectifier found in an alternator, you can do it. And then he turns it back into DC, puts it into his panel charge controller, and then if he hooks up an inverter onto it to run whatever AC products that he wants to use, then it's back to regular clean AC from his panel back into the inverter, coffee maker, whatever you're going to plug into it. Okay, you have positive and negative, positive and negative. You want to tie these in series, means that both the positives are tied together and both the negatives are tied together.
Okay.
Now you have what's called parallel. I'm not really familiar on doing a parallel tie-in, so I do all mine in series, which is positive, positive, negative, negative. Then I run that line down to a charge controller. And charge controller is just a little digital meter, and it reads how much power is going one way and going the other direction.
We may need one.
So what it'll do, there's a line that comes out that goes to the battery to power that. And it reads how much amperage is going through. Then it also reads how much power is in the battery. So you can get a charge controller that tells you how much power is coming from the sun into the battery.
Charge controller?
Yes. And you can also get a charge controller that has a built-in voltage reader that tells you how much power the battery has. And it'll tell you if it's at 90%, 95%, or it'll tell you the voltage of the battery. It just depends on what you're wanting to see. Now, what I was talking about, the diode, I think this one already has them on there, because I think that's what these two are. That keeps these from being charged back from the battery.
Oh yeah.
Which is very important, because, like I said, you can fry your panels really very easy. So from that charge controller, on the back there's 4 ports. There's 2 in for positive and negative, and then there's a positive and negative out. From the charge controller, it goes straight to your battery. That's where it ends as far as this part. Once it goes to the battery, you can have a inverter straight from the battery, which is basically just a way to take DC and transfer it into AC. This is an inverter. This is just a 300 watt inverter. Very simple.
Radiator.
Well, this is for a heat sink so that it won't get hot. It plugs right into your DC, right into your lighter, and then it takes 12 volt and it gives me 300 watts back. And inside of here, it has a full motherboard with all kinds of nice little electronic things mounted to it that I don't know nothing about. So this is 300 watts. You can do your laptop, TV, anything off of this. It's pretty easy. And most people that do small time inversion, this would be all you would need for most of your stuff. You can get inverters that do up to 10,000 watts. I mean, you really don't need that. That's crazy. Now the bad part about these is that these are very inefficient. They will waste a lot of power to convert from DC to AC. So
Eat the battery really fast?
It'll eat your battery really fast. Like if you were to say 2 6-volt batteries, deep cycle batteries, maybe 220 amp hour batteries, those are some pretty decent batteries. With this on there and those two at full charge, you might have 4 hours of usage. So this uses a lot of power.
But if the car is on, then you'll have it for a long time.
Oh yeah, then you got constant. It's not gonna do anything. Now this one is a smaller one. This one here is only 130 watts. So you can run your laptop off of this one too, and maybe one TV. But you can probably run a TV, a radio. I mean, that's 300 watts. You've got quite a bit of usage there. This one, I got it. It was small. I didn't think it was gonna work. I thought it was just gonna be like some crappy thing. But it actually works really well, and it also has a USB charger, so you can charge with USB. So these are inverters. You can get what's called a sine wave inverter, and basically what that does is it takes that conversion or inversion of DC to AC, and it creates what's called a sine wave, which is like almost a perfect wave of AC power, and they're really good. If you can get a sine wave inverter, they're expensive, but they're really good compared to these. This one right here was $29, and I think this one was like $59. They're not expensive at all. The 2,000 watt sine wave inverter, Harbor Freight is a good place to go. I know a lot of people give Harbor Freight a bad name because, well, they have shitty tools. But you can go and get a 2,000 watt sine wave inverter from Harbor Freight for like $300. Not bad at all compared to, if you were to get this off of like a solar website, you're looking at probably $1,500 to $2,000 for the same thing. And it works really well. So very simple, very easy to use. I also have another one that it's a 300, 600 watt. So it can give you a surge of up to 600 watts. But then the normal is 300. You know, it can go back down.
What's that place again? What's the place again?
Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight.
It's at 290 in Jones.
Okay. I'm gonna go there.
Or you can order off the internet.
Yeah, because I saw the ones on the internet, they're like $1,500, it's true.
The $1,500 or $1,500 what?
No, $1,500 for the 2,000 watts.
Really?
I mean on the...
on the website?
Yeah, on the website. It's more expensive.
They're really expensive.
Yeah.
But Harbor Freight has a pretty good deal for theirs, and they're pretty decent. You know, it's really hard to get a really good sine wave that didn't cost a lot.
I really know it.
You're good for that.
That is awesome.
So, and a lot of people think, like, if you're doing a home, that you want the comparable power to your house that uses city electricity. If you were to really be frugal and tell yourself, okay, put everything on surge protectors that allow you to turn it off, to completely turn it off, or if you're the kind of person that would go out to your power, your
Turn off your fuse
panel,
box.
your fuse box, go out there and just turn that off, man. You're not using no power then.
Yeah.
You know, but everything that's plugged into a wall uses a phantom load. It has a load of somewhat on it, and that stuff can add up really fast.
That's what they told us on Oprah.
Yeah, it can add up a lot, and you know, you'll go and you'll go, well, my base power charge is like $24 a month,
Yeah.
but I don't use any power. But every time I get my bill's like $75.
And they say,
Well, how many things do you have plugged in that you're not turned on?
just unplug
All that
it.
stuff still uses an amount of power.
So unplug it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try unplug
They
True,
call it
like I leave
phantom
my phone
load.
charger in the plug without the phone there, you know.
Yeah,
that
so
kind of
unplug
stuff.
everything, or go outside, turn your breaker box off,
Yeah.
or you can use what's called it's this little box called a kilowatt, and it's a little box that plugs into your plug, and then you plug everything into it.
It has a timer on it.
It reads how much power you're using, and then when you're not using any power, it cuts off that plug. So anything that's plugged into it doesn't get used.
Yeah. My cousin got the thing. It has a timer in it. You just plug it in the outlet, and you just put the timer. For example, you want usage of electricity from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And after that, it blocks it.
It blocks it.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
That's a nice thing to
That's a really good idea, and it's simple. It's not power. It's probably just like a spring. A spring.
Right, something.
Yeah, something
Like
that you
it
can
looks
turn.
like a box, like AC converter,
Yeah.
DC, something like that.
Very simple. That's probably the cheapest way to do it, other than just unplugging.
Or just unplug it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in series, positive, negative. So you've got only 2 lines going to your battery or to your charge controller, and then 2 lines coming out of your charge controller into battery. So now they have DC coffee makers, DC TVs, DC DVD players. They have all this DC stuff, so that way these guys who drive trucks can have a little bit of comfort or entertainment. And you can go get these yourself. You know, they're
It's
not
good for the
restricted to you.
camper.
You can go get them and use them.
You
And
get
then
the
you would just go
inverter,
from
yeah,
your
so you can
battery
plug anything.
straight to a plug, and you just plug it in, and then there you are. You have it.
nice.
Yeah. So that's it. That's it.
We just got to learn the terminology.